I think the police did what they were supposed to do. They came in, they came through the door, they arrested him. He's bonded out since. The problem that I have is that there's this thing that we're dealing with right now that's called mental issue.
There's this rumor of Jake Paul and Ryan Garcia fighting on Netflix to replace Gervonta Davis. Jake Paul, if you guys haven't seen, Gervonta Davis in another sexual assault allegation, lawsuits incoming, potentially criminal charges levied. We don't know yet, but we know that fight is up in the air, and I think that fight's not going to happen.
You know, it already happened. You knew it happened, and you made the fight anyway. But now, based on something you already knew happened, now you're just saying, oh, no, because this happened, we're not going to do the fight. But you knew already in the first place.
Yes, the history was already there.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
And for this particular situation, by the way, mind you, the girl now is coming with a civil suit.
Yes.
She probably saw that he signed the Jake Paul fight.
Shannon Sharpe didn't hold back when addressing Gervonta Davis's latest arrest. He spoke passionately, emphasizing that the true victim in the situation deserves care, counseling, and genuine support, not just empty sympathy. Sharpe criticized those who dismiss such incidents as mere mental health struggles, saying that doing so minimizes the pain and long-term damage done to others. He insisted that accountability must come before pity, arguing that this kind of behavior cannot simply be excused or overlooked. Sharpe also stated bluntly that Davis may have permanently damaged his boxing career through his repeated poor decisions and personal controversies.
Protector is the abuser. You lose a sense of protection of what you think a protector should do, because you're supposed to protect me from this. If someone is trying to do this to me, you're supposed to jump in and be my superhero. You're not supposed to commit.
Jake Paul reacted strongly on X after news broke of Gervonta Davis's legal troubles. His post reflected anger, exhaustion, and deep disappointment over what he called Davis's consistent pattern of unprofessionalism. Jake wrote, "Gervonta Davis is an actual walking human piece of garbage. Working with him is an absolute nightmare, from the unprofessionalism, to the bizarre requests, showing up hours late, and the countless arrests, accusations, and lawsuits. If you support this man, you support one of the worst sins a man can commit." He continued by saying that his company, Most Valuable Promotions, stands for women's rights and refuses to promote someone accused of abuse. Jake expressed regret toward everyone affected by the situation, his team, the undercard fighters, and those who dedicated weeks preparing for the event. "It's scary that devilish men like this can rise to the top of sports and culture," he added. "People need to look beyond fake swagger and start supporting real character." The post instantly went viral, sparking heated debates among fans and analysts. Some praised Jake's moral stand, while others accused him of grandstanding. Following Davis's legal issues, Jake and his team began urgently searching for a replacement to keep the Netflix event alive. Reports suggested names like former UFC heavyweight champion Francis Ngannou briefly came up as potential options. However, Ngannou quickly dismissed the rumors, saying that fighting Jake Paul would be a step backward for him as a professional boxer. He clarified that he's focused on legitimate world-class challenges, not spectacle-driven fights designed for views and publicity.
Gervonta Davis, we had to go right to the source. What can you tell us? Is there any possibility that Francis Ngannou will step in for Gervonta Davis and fight Jake Paul?
No, there's no such a thing happening. Basically, like, how can they go from like Gervonta Davis to Francis Ngannou? Like, I mean, Gervonta Davis is a fantastic boxer, but and is a one-shot knockout artist. But come on, like the weight different and everything, it makes no sense. You know, the Gervonta Davis, you count, you say, okay, the size different can level up. But at this point, for me to...
Francis Ngannou later addressed the situation directly, speaking out against the circulating rumors linking him to Jake Paul. He explained that he would never accept a fight that feels like a marketing gimmick. After sharing the ring with world champions like Tyson Fury, Ngannou said it would be disrespectful to his craft and his legacy to face a social media celebrity in a novelty match. He emphasized that true fighters should value their discipline and avoid turning combat sports into a circus for internet fame. Fans widely respected Ngannou's statement, agreeing that such a fight would make little sense both competitively and financially.
Oh, and see, yeah, Jake Paul, you know, he's fighting, like, No, bro, come on. Don't, I mean, don't disrespect me like that. And then they even say like, they even come out after and say, and what if the number are good? He send out some number. I'm like, it's not about the number. If it was about the number, we could have started talk. I would have tell you, I'm not just interested. It make no sense for me. It's not my what I'm looking at right now.
So there is no dollar amount. It's more the opponent. The fight makes no sense. They could offer you $100 million and you wouldn't be interested.
The fight made no sense. That's what I think. That's my position. And though I went back,
With Gervonta Davis now out of the picture, Jake Paul faces a major challenge in finding a credible opponent. There was early talk about Ryan Garcia possibly stepping in, but that idea faded almost immediately due to promotional conflicts. Garcia is signed with Golden Boy Promotions, while Jake operates independently through his Netflix partnership. The two networks' business agreements make collaboration nearly impossible. On top of that, Garcia's camp reportedly showed no interest in joining a Netflix-hosted boxing event. Jake's team is still working to find a big enough name to keep fan excitement alive, but the limited pool of available fighters has made the process frustrating and uncertain.
That is the route they're going. Then it kind of dissuades what I thought may happen, which was this rumor of Jake Paul and Ryan Garcia fighting on Netflix to replace Gervonta Davis, Jake Paul. If you guys haven't seen Gervonta Davis in another sexual assault allegation, lawsuits incoming, potentially criminal charges levied. We don't know yet, but we know that fight is up in the air, and I think that fight's not going to happen, and they're going to either have to move the fight back or they're going to have to look to a replacement or both. I don't know. And the rumor was one of the replacements was talked about and even offered to Ryan Garcia. Well, here is Ryan Garcia's promoter, Oscar De La Hoya, speaking on that rumor and what's next for Ryan.
It's happy Saturday. So I wake up to calls from reporters asking me about Jake Paul and Ryan Garcia. Let me just tell you why this fight is not going to happen. Ryan Garcia fights for DAZN, and Jake Paul fights on Netflix. I mean, that's pretty much the bottom line. Golden Boy has a contract with DAZN. Ryan Garcia has a contract with Golden Boy. And that's just the way it is. I mean, this is business. You know, Ryan Garcia's probably going to go on a rant saying, oh, you're keeping me from making money and this and that and fighting. No. You have to go by the law, by the rules. You have a contract with DAZN. You have a contract with Golden Boy. It just doesn't happen that way. So anyway, until next time, we'll see you Saturday for Virgil Ortiz. But again, Ryan Garcia's next fight will be announced by me, who he's fighting, and when he's fighting next. See you guys.
It always seems like when Oscar decides to address something with Ryan Garcia, that he's not only addressing us, the people, that he's addressing Ryan Garcia. He's like, through us, telling Ryan, no, you're not fighting Jake Paul, no matter how much you want to fight. That's what it seems like. It's like, no matter how much you want to fight Jake Paul, you're not fighting. I don't even think that was meant for us. I think that was him telling Ryan. And you even hear it there. He's like, oh, Ryan's going to say, I'm keeping him from making money or whatever. But in this case, Oscar is right. If Ryan is signed to Golden Boy and Golden Boy is exclusively signed to DAZN for, fight rights, then Ryan has to fight on DAZN. I think that's pretty reasonable for Oscar. I didn't know that Golden Boy was exclusive to DAZN. I didn't know that was a thing. But if that is the...
During the Ariel Helwani show, analysts discussed how Gervonta Davis's recent lawsuit has caused severe damage to both his public image and his career. The panel pointed out that this is Davis's second major legal issue within just 2 months, a sign of ongoing personal instability. Helwani and his guests highlighted how this pattern of behavior not only harms Davis's reputation but also jeopardizes major business deals. According to reports, Netflix is now reconsidering its involvement, not wanting its first major boxing event associated with a fighter facing repeated accusations. As a result, Jake Paul's team has been forced to scramble for a replacement to save the show from total cancellation.
Aggravated battery, false imprisonment, kidnapping, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. Lawsuit comes 2 months after Davis's previous domestic violence case was dropped by a different ex-girlfriend and the mother of 2 of the boxer's 3 children. I just think MVP is in the business of being the home of women, right? At this point, that's a huge part of their identity. What is their identity? It's Jake Paul and women's boxing. That's their identity right now. And they've done a phenomenal job for the women. And so how, with these allegations lingering and now coming to light 2 weeks before, how can you go through with it? And it sounds like they feel the same way. It's an impossible spot to be in.
The only part I'd say is, like, you kind of know who this guy is ahead of time. Like, this is not exactly a shocking revelation. Like, Tank Davis is, this is not the first rodeo. But I do think it's too close to the fight to really be, messing around here. Like, you got to figure out a new solution.
And so there's been multiple reports regarding people that they've reached out to. Names like Ryan Garcia have been brought up. Terrence Crawford has been brought up. Francis Ngannou has been brought up. And Francis Ngannou spoke to TMZ today, and he did confirm that he was contacted. And the quote was, "How can they go from Gervonta Davis to Francis Ngannou? It makes no sense." He was like, quote, "We think about you to fight Jake." I'm like, what? Which Jake? Bro, come on, don't disrespect me like that.
What the fuck is that?
That might have been the most timely "what the F is that" of all time. What do you guys think about that stance from Francis? Because actually, there's a part of me that thinks, take the fight, you knock him out, you'll be like 65 pounds bigger than him, and it's a nice little feather in your cap.
I think that was a great backup solution. I think Francis versus Jake is a great fight.
If it goes all
Compelling,
according to
too.
plan, like he should theoretically get paid a bunch of money, knock out Jake Paul, and make off like a bandit. There is always the world where it goes awry. If he were to drop the fight to Jake Paul,
Right, but I mean, you can literally say that about any fight. Are you just saying that the risk is greater than the reward?
I don't think so.
In my eyes, losing to Jake Paul is.
Veteran commentator Chael Sonnen also weighed in, questioning whether Jake Paul and the media are overreacting. Sonnen argued that Gervonta Davis hasn't been found guilty in court and therefore shouldn't be treated as if he has. He criticized Jake for calling off the fight prematurely, suggesting that boxing has always included controversial figures, yet matches usually go on. Sonnen implied that Jake might be using the scandal as an excuse to avoid a dangerous opponent, hinting that the moral outrage could be more strategic than sincere. His comments divided fans, with some agreeing the show should go on, while others believed Netflix and Jake were right to prioritize reputation over risk.
Tank has one job to do, which is to let anybody know that's listening that it doesn't make any difference, that boxing is a real sport. My skills versus your skills, of which I have an abundance of and of which you have none of. My life's commitment and dedication versus a second or third or fourth thought in the world of priority on your list. And I used to believe those things. Now, I go back far enough in MMA that I've had my eyes open a number of times. The fact that karate was so incredibly useless, or the fact that Jeet Kune Do was so incredibly useless, like, these were not things that I would have bet on when I was in high school. As a wrestler at that time, I would not have assumed that I would fare well in a fight against somebody that knew Kung Fu. We had all been falsely led through Hollywood. Not through competition, not through sport, not through understanding of the game, but just through Hollywood. We were told that those guys were the most dangerous guys. So, we then eventually get up to Conor McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather, which had a weight discrepancy, but it was very small. I mean, I watched him weigh in, I want to say it was like 8.
Shortly after, Rolando "Rolly" Romero stepped forward and offered to replace Gervonta Davis immediately. He took to social media claiming he could be ready within a week, confidently stating that he would knock Jake Paul out and end the hype once and for all. His bold challenge quickly spread online, drawing mixed reactions from fans. Some saw it as an exciting opportunity, while others doubted whether Romero would truly be a fair or marketable substitute. Known for his outspoken attitude and knockout power, Romero's offer injected fresh energy into the story, keeping audiences curious about whether Jake would respond. So far, Jake Paul has remained silent, but the idea has sparked new conversation about who will ultimately fill the main event slot.
Man, I want to let everybody know I'm going to slap Jake Paul across his face because, first and foremost, man, I'm tired of this YouTube boxing stuff, man. I really am. I am more tired of this YouTube boxing stuff than everyone else, man. Oh, let's make this happen, bro. I'll be ready in a week. I'll be ready to slap Jake Paul across the face in a week. I will slap Jake Paul across his face. But who cares? I don't care. Roll over Jake Paul 2025, bro. I knocked out another YouTuber. I knocked out. Bro. Jake Paul gets knocked.
Several boxing analysts then accused Jake Paul of hypocrisy. They argued that the lawsuit against Gervonta Davis is civil, not criminal, meaning guilt hasn't been established. Many reminded audiences that Jake himself has faced similar accusations in the past, including from an ex-girlfriend. According to them, Jake shouldn't act as if he holds the moral high ground. This comparison complicated the situation further, leading fans to question Jake's true motives. Some now believe he's using the controversy as a PR move rather than an ethical decision, trying to protect his image instead of sticking to his commitments.
If I thought he did it twice and we forgave him for that and you got better, you seek help and etc., I could, forgive him for it.
Bruh.
How you know Jake Paul didn't know that?
Jake Paul knew.
Jake Paul 100%
September 19th, 2017, arrest warrant, first degree assault. September 14th, 2018, arrested in Washington, D.C. February 1st, 2020, Davis arrested on domestic assault. March 22nd, 2021, indicted on 14 counts allegedly causing a serious crash. December 27th, 2022, days before a fight, arrested and jailed in Florida, domestic battery. July 11th, 25, taken into custody following a battery charge. October 31st, 25, Davis was involved in a civil fight with his girlfriend. Shut up, Jake Paul. You knew what you was doing.
He does not get this excuse whatsoever. Also, whenever you look at what Jake Paul has done since coming into the sport of boxing, he has been a champion for women in the sport. He has also been a champion of equal fighter pay and whatnot, right? All of these different things that he's done. He's gone to Dana White directly for trying to abolish the Muhammad Ali Act that helps out fighters get. He's gone to so many different people. He's an extremely knowledgeable person whenever it comes to the sport that he's hyper obsessed with and turned his career from a Disney star and a YouTuber into a boxer. He knew about these issues already. Correct. He knew that this was a farcical fight in the first place. Yeah. This is a 7-weight class difference in real boxing. No, absolutely not. It should not have been a fight that was happening in the first place. But even then, after all of these things going on right now, Jake Paul to sit there and act as if you are all high and mighty. Correct. And that I don't want to give this dude a platform to earn money. You were more than happy doing it. And
former world champion Paulie Nalignaggi also criticized Jake Paul, saying it's laughable for Jake to pretend he only just discovered Davis's troubled history. Paulie noted that everyone in the boxing world already knew about Davis's past controversies, yet Jake still signed the fight contract. In his view, Jake's sudden moral outrage is more about saving face than standing for principles. Paulie argued that if Jake truly cared about ethics, he wouldn't have agreed to the fight in the first place. Instead, he believes Jake is now trying to manipulate public perception and shift the narrative in his favor. His remarks sparked further debate about whether Jake's actions were driven by genuine values or pure marketing strategy.
I don't know, it's like damn if you do, damn if you don't. He had already had this history. He's trying to be better. And this is something that had already happened in the past, right? I mean, this was already known when they signed it.
Yeah, he wasn't arrested.
He did this prior to this being signed, so you already knew this happened. It was regurgitated as a civil suit, right, but it was already something that everybody knew had happened in the past. So it's not like something new happened after he signed the fight. So that's what I don't understand, and that's why I don't want to see that. You know, I don't want to see that the kids still lose out on it that way for that reason. Because I don't know, to me it doesn't add up. You know, it already happened. You knew it happened, and you made the fight anyway. But now, based on something you already knew happened, now you're just saying, oh no, because this happened, we're not going to do the fight. But you knew already in the first place.
Yes, the history was already there.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
And for this particular situation, by the way, mind you, the girl now is coming with a civil suit.
Yes.
She probably saw that he signed the...
That wraps up today's coverage. The situation continues to evolve rapidly, with fans waiting to see if Jake Paul will find a new opponent or if the Netflix event will collapse entirely. Stay tuned for the next update.